Doc, what? First of all, what inspired you to be an educator? Like, how did that show up on the radar?
Well, I've been wanting to be an educator since I was like in elementary.
Really?
Yeah, so I always was the kid in the neighborhood that braided everybody hair, combed everybody hair. I was babysitting people, kids when I was 8, 9, 10. So being attracted to young people has always been something that I was just, I guess, gifted to do. But then my mom, when it came to that segregation thing, it started to be big in Indiana, where my fifth grade year, she decided that me and my younger sister would transition and be bused over to a school that was quote unquote better. And when I walked in the first day of school of my fifth grade year, it was it was three black students in my class, the rest white of, class of 28 plus. And the second day, it ended up being two of us. And I'm like, where'd the other person go? Well, they have three fifth grade classrooms. They separate us. They thought that was diversity, right? They put two, and two in each class. That was the first time I seen racism, experienced racism, not for me, but I seen it through my parents and the different things that, experiences that happened in our life growing up, but I never experienced it for me. My teacher was the worst teacher ever, and I was that kid that wanted to be the room parent. I was patrol leader. I was all the things in school. I was the perfect attendance student. I loved school. That year I hated school.
Really?
I absolutely hated it.
When you say that year, like, what year was this that, like, this
You trying
type?
to tell my age? I was fifth grade, 10 years old.
So was that like in
19, so that would have been 1989.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It was two of us. That's the first time I ever been called the N-word by my peers, and I got in trouble. It was a time where, teacher discipline was you put your name on the board, then you put the check mark after each time. It wasn't no color code or nothing like that, so you was always embarrassed. I hated school.
So if you hated school that much, why did you want to go and become an educator? Because I know if I hated it that much, I'm trying to figure out something else. So,
well, I also love learning. I love teaching. I love that. But I also know I can be part of a system to change it. So anybody that comes into my space as an educator will get a great learning experience no matter what their race is, no matter what their gender is. I love
So people. You want to be a difference maker.
I wanted to change lives in the way that education was then. Because growing up in Indiana, I probably only seen... I had two black teachers, and they both were male gym teachers,
really?
And that's it. In my whole 10-year educator, so it wasn't a lot of educators that looked like me.
So you graduate from high school. What college did you end up going to?
I played basketball at the Wright State University in Dayton, Ohio.
Now, Wright State, is that HBCU or
no?
Okay.
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
I was one of the first siblings in my family to go to a PWI. My siblings went to Norfolk State.
Is that an HBCU?
HBCU in Virginia. However, they didn't recruit. So, I was a top recruit in basketball. So
you went on a basketball scholarship?
I went on a basketball scholarship.
What position did you play?
I don't look as tall. I was a shooting guard.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had to go where it was free, right?
Right. I get that. So you end up getting your bachelor's there?
In early childhood education.
Okay, and then so once you got your bachelor's, like, what happened in life for you then? Like, did you go into working in the school district, or what happened?
Well, I became pregnant with my firstborn, my first sunshine. Okay. And eventually got married to my husband. He ended up getting deployed to Afghanistan. So as a decision between us, I was going to be a stay-at-home mom, but that just didn't sit well with me.
You was kind of restless.
I was restless, so I went on and just became a substitute teacher in Dayton public schools then. Okay. And then I also coached at Wilberforce University.
And this is you having your bachelor's, right? Mm-hmm. So you went. Did you stop at your bachelor's, or you went to get your master's next?
Nope. I stopped at my bachelor's, but eventually I went on to get my master's in counseling, community counseling.
Really?
But that was maybe 5-6 years down the line.
Okay.
And it's only, and I won't lie, it was only because I was working and we moved to Columbus City, Columbus, Ohio. Then I was working for Columbus City Schools, and they did a big layoff. And they
The school
laid off
district?
yes, they laid off 300 teachers. So I
Why?
was like, oh,
What was going on?
they say financial situations, but we all end up getting hired back to the same following school year. However, I was like, I need to get a degree in something else outside of education because just in case this happens again.
So during the time that they had laid off teachers, what did you end up doing?
It was only they laid us off during that end of the school year.
Okay.
They ended up calling me back to teach kindergarten that same summer, so it was nothing like it was like a summer break. However, I was in school at University of Dayton to get my degree in counseling. So I said I have another avenue. I can still help people and still be make a difference in people's lives by being a counselor.
Now, did you end up getting like I guess like your credentials as a therapist or a licensed counselor? Okay.
I did all the work, and I never went and took the test to get my LPC.
Was because you wasn't interested or what?
I ended up just staying in the world of education.
Oh, okay.
So I really never needed it.
Right.
Sometimes I do think if I should go back and get it, but I never really needed it. I never was laid off again, and I just stayed in Columbus City until I moved here.
So because I want people to understand, there's layers to you getting these degrees. Cause you got more degrees than a thermometer. So how did you end up getting your doctorate?
Well, I decided to get my doctorate because God told me to. I was very disobedient. I didn't want to.
Why? I mean, what was causing you to like not want to listen?
I mean, I was already successful as a teacher. Like, why do I need it? But it's because God told me I need to get it, and I was like, no. So I end up doing a prophetic reading. Some things I don't believe everybody should be able to speak prophetic over you, right? And I only went because my sister invited me. She said we never do any things with her, and that's one of the things that she enjoyed. So I said, I'm going to go. And the lady, when I sat down, and she was like, God said you crazy. And I'm looking like, how you be looking at people like, I know that. Like, everybody who meets me know I'm crazy. What is new?
Yeah.
But then as she got to talking, she started disclosing things that only I would know. Other people, and I was like, okay, I'm listening now, Lord. Is this really you, right? And she told me I was going to get my doctoral degree. And I said, now you're lying now. You back at me in denial. But lo and behold, I would say maybe 10 years later, I started back in school to become a doctor.
Really? And so what is your doctorate in?
In educational leadership.
So do you feel like you were born to lead, or you learned to become a leader?
Honestly, I think I was born to lead because in every aspect of my life, in the classroom or on the sports field, I was always the leader. Not because I wanted to, it's because this is what
you were chosen.
People chose me to be. Even my friends groups, I'm the leader. Not because I choose to, it's because it was just inherently who I am, I guess. So I just kept trying to please God and do what God told me to do.
Let me ask you this, Doc. Do you think we are preparing our kids for the future, or are we still preparing them for the past? What's your take on that?
I think it's bothfold. I really believe that the world of education is changing so fast that the systems that we have in place, first of all, the systems that we have in place wasn't meant for us anyways as the Black community, for one. Number two, I don't think we are catching up with the ever-changing of society, and we're doing more things that are leaving our kids unable to be ready for the real world. Like, everything is all about academic success. It's not teaching you how to live, to do life, and not teaching them how to be critical thinkers.
So what's your thought on, pushing, all kids are in the school. When I say school, like the school district, like pushing this college on kids. Like, how should we be, having these conversations with the students, and like, how do we make this determination and say, you know what, college may not be the right path for this student, but we need to put this student, because based on what we're seeing, he's more of a businessman. Like, he's around here selling candy and making about $300 or $400 a week. But he's not interested in college, but he's definitely have this business savvy, right? Or the kid that likes to put things together, like can fix things. Like, wow. So what do we need to do to get a hold of that?
I think college is a great option. However, it's not the only option.
Okay.
I think they need to bring back and do a better job of introducing our kids to all types of opportunities. Not everybody an entrepreneur, not everybody a college student, not everybody. Everybody should be able to experience all of it, because just because I knew what I wanted to be when I was in elementary, don't mean everybody knows what they be. Give them opportunities to practice other skill sets. We need to have the trades back in the schools. I know I was having.
Why did they take them out? Oh, because the government couldn't make money.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So I remember my mom, she was born in the 50s, and she was part of Mississippi, and she was just talking about, it was so many gifted people that wasn't academically savvy, but they were gifted in other areas. And they stopped. Like back in her day, they pushed that. They didn't push college. They pushed strictly the trades, and you work for Ford and all those other things, versus me growing up, my parents pushed college. It wasn't going into a trade. It was like you automatically going to college, so we didn't have no other option. But as I became more aware, college ain't for everybody. We're spending millions of dollars on kids who are not even ready for the college life. And then they graduate with all these degrees, and they still don't have any skills to make it out in real life.
Well, I mean, the one skill they do have is debt.
and debt. And I think we need to just, as for me, I always pour into my kids. I always look at what gifts that God gave them. Everybody has a different gift, and that we need to make sure that we are pouring into that gift and not just say this is one route that fits all. It's many areas and many roles. Like, I had a kid that I was doing a walkthrough in one of my toughest high schools, and he was talking all kinds of swag, and I got this business, car dealership and detail. And I said, where's your business plan? Do you have a business card? And he looked at me like, huh? I know you're going to entrepreneurship. That's why you're in the hallway 100 times, during out the day and not in the classroom. But it's steps on how to be an entrepreneur. But as me, if I was his teacher or a counselor or somebody else that's pouring into him, I would have been showing him that route and which route to go and the steps to be a successful entrepreneur, and not just say, I'm an entrepreneur, I got my business. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got no website. You ain't got your LLC. All those things that can tap into that young person. But we don't do that. Like you say, right now it's pushing college, and it's starting to switch, though. More districts are starting to open back up those career tech schools.
Yeah, trades. Yeah. So let's talk about this. Well, let me back up. So, the world is changing, right? It used to be a time when, we would learn how to write our alphabets, write in cursive. Like, we don't do that anymore.
But some schools, you go to private, they still teach cursive.
Yeah. And at one point, I couldn't understand it. I can begin to understand it now because of technology. I mean, even how we sign stuff on these boards. I mean, look, everybody look like a doctor, right? But we in today's world, we have so much technology, right? But what I'm seeing being lost is effective communication. What I'm seeing being lost is, we have a lot of people who have a high IQ, but have a very, very low EQ, which, is emotional intelligence, right? So how do we work that back in? Because I always say at the end of the day, to me, it doesn't matter how many degrees you have, how many certifications you have. If you can't communicate in a way that people understand what it is that you're saying in the first 3 to 5 seconds, I mean, to me, that you're losing out on currency.
Yeah, I totally. We're so focused on an educational space on the test scores because test scores drives the money that you get into the schools, right?
When
So
you say schools like the universities
no,
or
the
oh, you talking about like public schools?
public schools,
Yeah.
you know, the
Okay.
test scores matter, right? And so you so focused on that we start to lose the whole child. We only teaching the part of the child. We're not teaching them the skills to be able to communicate effective in the classroom, to be able to have conflict resolution, to be able to emotionally regulate when you don't get your way, to be able to even work collaboratively together. I remember going in schools, we had a lot of group projects. We don't even do those as much anymore because we're so focused on content for the test, not real life skills that the kids should be practicing on a daily basis. Like one of our programs, youth programs, is that we're doing is on entrepreneurship and leadership. A pitch. I wish coming down here, them 30-second pitches matter.
Oh my God!
Like,
And you know what's
and
crazy?
we don't teach
Doc?
these to the kids.
So true story, true story. I used to go to networking events for one reason only. It was to eat free, right? Especially when and this is back in Arkansas. This is like back in the day. This is when you could go to like a business out there or chamber event for like $5. And they had all the food, right? And people say, so what you do? I said, shoot, I do a lot. That's not a pitch.
That's not a pitch.
And so I said to myself, okay, Kevin, what's really going on with you? And I actually learned through training on how to give an elevator pitch, right? And it ended up, it caused me to write a book about how to perfect your elevator pitch, how to, master the art of networking. But communication started actually with my daughter because when she was between the ages of 6 and 10, I had no communication skills other than cussing, fussing, hollering, right? And she ended up writing me a letter, and that letter is what changed the trajectory of our relationship today, which is a solid relationship, but there's just no escaping communication.
And you have to give people opportunities to practice that because we all come from different environments. Like you say, cussing, fussing, that's how we grew up,
Right.
I chose to speak differently, but our kids are social isolation. Like they want to be by themselves. You have so many kids that enjoy being by themselves that they don't even get opportunities to even practice how to communicate because you always by yourself and
On
communicate
some type of
with
device,
you,
right? Yeah.
right. So it's like
yeah.
we're not giving kids opportunities. So in the school settings, that's the time to practice on how to develop confidence. I remember growing up in churches, we used to have to do them, Easter speeches and all those different things that we had to get in front of people and practice public speaking.
Yeah.
Churches don't do that anymore. Schools don't do that anymore. So we're not giving our kids opportunities.
Doc, do you think
those.
you think schools should make it not an elective, but what's it called when you have to do it?
A requirement.
A requirement, like to have Toastmasters
Oh, yes.
into schools?
Oh, yes. As an adult, and even because every profession, you have to do some type of presentation, speak in front of whoever. I don't care what profession you in, you have to do it.
Yeah.
So why not give them opportunity to practice that skill? It should be mandatory that they do a public speaking or speech class.
Mm-hmm.
I say, shoot, I always do it in elementary. Why not start out young?
You're right, because as they work their way growing up, they're going to be so effective when it comes to speaking.
I love to see young people who walk in space and they're so vibrant, confident, and then you have a 24-year-old who can't even do the same thing that 10-year-old just did.
Right.
But it depends on her experience and what she was exposed to, and I think it needs to be mandatory to be successful in any profession.
What are your concerns watching this generation enter the workforce?
It's not their ability, because they are wiser. These young people are brilliant. It's their ability to be able to adapt. It's their ability to be able to have that conflict resolution, to be able to even know who they are. We in that image, in that world of everybody has to like me. They have 1 million. I think we talked earlier, they can have 1 million followers. If that one person don't like them, that's the only thing they're going to think about.
Yeah.
They don't know who they are and who they're supposed to be. They only, if they're not performing. If I'm performing, they're confident. But if they're not performing,
right.
Shoot, you got this generation that will leave a job. Back in my day, we stay in professions, even if the professions did not serve us well. We stayed in it, but you have people that have been working 20, 30, 40 years in their career. Not anymore. These young people, like.
So when you say young people, is this like more of the millennials now that kind of have changed how the job market is?
Yeah, I just say that. I would say in the last 10, 15 years, young people are not staying in jobs that don't serve them. And a lot of it is not.
But couldn't that be good and?
That's good and bad, because you have to. We are in spaces where achievement matters, and that we then gave our kids, everybody get an award. I'd be like, oh my God, everybody don't deserve an award. You have to work hard for that award. So you have people that comes into spaces that think just because I got this Ivy League degree, I got this, and this, I deserve that position that you may have already then worked hard for, and you do a better job at. However, they want that job because they're not waiting for their time and opportunity to actually perfect that job. And so they leave, right? So that's the bad part. But then you have the good part where they do deserve that position. They did work hard, and they know who they are in their identity, and the applause doesn't matter. They know they're walking in their gift. So those are the two differences with our young people. Our young people, if I didn't have kids say, well, so-and-so don't like me, so I quit. Maybe that situation is you're going to learn from that. You have to learn through the storm, right? Quitting is only going to take you back to the same space sometimes.
Right.
You're going to get that lesson in a different way. So when we talk about the difference of our young people, I need our young people to be more resilient. I need them to be able to adapt to different things. I need them to be emotionally regulated and to learn from people that came before them, and don't come into spaces where they may think they know everything, right? You might be wiser, but it's X and O's that will help you navigate to be where you want to be.
Let me ask you this. If you had the option, or not the option, but if they gave you complete authority to, change the education system, like, what would be the first 3 things you would focus on?
Well, the number one thing is the culture of the buildings.
But when you say culture of the building, what do you mean?
What do you feel like, no matter what role you play, no matter who you are, when you walk into an educational space, elementary, middle, high, what do you feel when you walk into that building? What do you see when you walk into that building? Do you see fun going on? Do you see engaging content? Do you see people that are happy to be there, or do you see chaos? You come in, you got kids running up and down the hallways. You have systems that are not in place so people can be successful. So I believe in providing a culture first and implementing systems where everybody can have a great learning experience. One, because you can have the best teacher, but if the environment is chaotic, the ambiance of the building make you feel like you in a prison. You got kids walking down the hallway like they in prison. They serving lunch like they in prison. How are our kids supposed to be able to be curious and explore and really be their best selves if the environment is not conducive to learning, if the environment is not conducive for you even to lead the building or to teach the content? That's number one. What systems are you putting in place to ensure everybody is successful? Like, even coming here, your expectation, be here by 1:45 so we can start. That's an expectation.
Right.
Right? What are we putting in place for the culture and climate where everybody get a great learning experience and everybody want to be there? I always tell my leaders, you are the CEO of your building. What makes people want to be in your building? If you don't have clientele, you don't have no school.
So I want to interject and I want to share this, and then I want you to give me number 2 and number 3. I think culture is important. Bridget Moody, great friend of mine, she was the former executive director for the Collin County Black Chamber of Commerce. And I remember her saying, she said, Kevin, we have to build the culture. And she said, because if we don't build the culture, people will bring their own. And a prime example is Chick-fil-A. They have a culture. If you go outside of their culture, they will get rid of you.
Yeah.
Like, can we serve the next guest? That's part of their culture, right? Now, there's this golden arch that there's no culture there. Yep, next person. Right?
Yeah.
There's no culture there. And so they bring their own, right?
They bring their own.
And so that's why most people, if you say who's like the number one restaurant, the first thing we think about is Chick-fil-A. Who would have a F on their report card? The first thing we'll think about is the Golden Arches, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but what's the second one?
The second one, I think I would love for school to go to 4 days. I wouldn't have a 4-day.
So is that like 10 hours a day or what?
No.
Just 4 8-hour days?
Yeah, just like the model that's already here. You have a lot of schools who are already transitioning that way.
So Monday through Thursday?
Monday through Thursday. One of my first positions was 4 days a week. And then that 5th day, I was able to sit with my assistant and we had lesson plan. We get we reflect.
Oh, so you're
all
not cramming stuff.
You're not stressor, but also that 5th day, because parents be like, what are we going to do with our kids? Well, I will put in practical life skills. That is your opportunity, not our elementary, but at least our middle and our high school, to be able to practice life skills. They could be able to go and do internships and get opportunities and experiences to be able to dive into what they're called to be. If they want to be a nurse, they go, be an intern with a nurse or a doctor, or if they want to be a plumber or a mechanic. We're giving them life skills of internships and experiences on that 5th day, while teachers and leaders are doing meaningful, fun, and engaging professional development, and then times for our teachers to actually reflect on their practices and actually give them time to actually plan lessons so our scholars can learn. I would make it, that 5th day, it's so many wasted hours in education that people who's not an educator don't know. Capitalize every minute counts. So why not put things in place, systems in place where those minutes are meaningful, fun, and engaging, so whoever is getting whatever content can fully grasp that concept, whatever you're trying to disperse out to them. So I really don't see why we have a 5-day school week. And I think here in Texas, I'm learning, since I'm new here, that many of the school districts already are 4-day weeks.
Okay. What would be number 3?
Number 3 would be to make sure that we are actually being intentional about making sure we are dispersing good human beings out into the universe. We have a lot of kids who are praised for a lot of things, but we are not praising character. We are not dispersing good characteristics for our young people out into this world. So I will make sure that is, like you said, a requirement that we are dispersing good human beings out into this space. Then we can't say we don't have good employers or good entrepreneurs, because we already been teaching those skills from early on that's being transferable into life. Because I see a lot of smart people. I see a lot of wise people. I see a lot of people that get accolades, even our sports athletes, and I'm an athlete, that get passes, but their character is not great. And we are not teaching, that is not being taught in school at all. It used to be, but it's so heavy academic content is heavy that we focus on. We got some not so nice human beings that's been dispersed out into the universe.
What's your thoughts about AI? and because I don't know if AI is in the school district or it's not, but what's your thought about AI?
I think AI is a great tool.
Mm-hmm.
I wish AI was when I was working my dissertation. Shoot, it is more efficient and it enhances your creativity and so many great things. But it's not the be all. You should not use it as a way just to use it for your thinking. Some people use it for everything, and they don't know how to think for themselves.
So I want you to give me an example of what you mean, because I may give you some pushback, but if I hear your example, then I may not even give pushback. But give me an example.
So, like now that I'm a full-time entrepreneur,
okay,
I use AI for a lot of things that enhances my ability to be an entrepreneur, like emails, how to be efficient with the information I'm dispersing out.
Okay,
I'm not using it as a way, the only thing that I use, and I am straight AI. AI, you can tell an email that's straight AI. AI is not a human. And you have to be able to utilize that tool to enhance you and not be all that you are. I tell my colleagues, your email was just written by AI. You can definitely tell that it was made by a computer and not by a human.
Okay.
Use it as a way to enhance your writing skills.
Okay. So I'm gonna give a little pushback. Okay.
What's your pushback?
I think what we're not understanding by AI is that even you have to think critical in order to give AI what you are looking for. So, for example,
that's true.
If I say, chat, I need you to write me an email to Dr. Hill and ask her about being a guest, right? That's
basic.
That's basic, right? But if I say, and this is what people don't get. First of all, I'm a reader, right? So I every book that I have read, now I can just push it out and tell Chad exactly how to do it.
Yeah.
So I'll say, Chad, write me an email to Dr. Hill. I want you to write on a level 3. I want you to add some emotional intelligence 2.0, and I want to add a little bit of sales EQ, right? That now the email is going to come out in a way that it sounds like me. Oh, and I'll also say, don't write this sound like an AI. Yeah. So that's the pushback that I'll give.
However, the pushback I will give you learned that. And you learned when you first use AI, you don't know how to do all of that. You don't know that you can prompt AI to do everything that you just said. And we have a lot of people who are using AI without knowing what prompts to be able, because they're not there yet. But you learned as you became, and I won't say an expert in AI, you learned through the time that I need to prompt him by using this certain language. I need to prompt him to be humanized. I need to be prompt. It's certain steps that you took.
But that also comes from me, in all fairness, it comes from me doing training on AI, right? So,
and some of these young people, like, they plagiarize all kinds of stuff, using AI, not realizing,
right? Because
they don't have that knowledge. So I was like, just use it as a tool. It's not a be all, because sometimes AI is wrong too. So you have to research.
And I do also go back and read.
But we need to teach our young people how to use it successfully as a tool.
Yeah. I think most people just use it on a surface level, which let me just say this. Speaking of AI, and then I'm going to get off this soapbox. When AI was first introduced, I would go to these like different conferences for things that's reference to like black organizations, right?
Mm.
And one of the things I would always hear, this is when AI was kind of just getting introduced, right? I would hear the panel say stuff like this: "Don't mess with AI." Like they was talking against it. So that's one setback we already have, right?
Yep.
That's one reason why we all for every I'm gonna just say for every 90 days that we don't learn AI, we're set back another 2 to 5 years.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We're set back another 2 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I never could understand, why would we encourage our community? We've
Not
always
to use it.
we always are behind on stuff because we fight the very thing that could help us, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say to people, don't AI is not replacing you. It's the person who know how to use it is going to replace you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's already starting to replace a lot of people. I know it has also helped me expand my thinking. I'd be like, "Oh,
Right,
you'd
exactly.
be like that was good AI."
Yeah, like boy. So, do you think we spending too much time teaching students to regurgitate?
Well, I don't even think that we're
But when I say regurgitate, like
memorization.
yeah, because
and
that's
things
how that's how I used to take tests.
Well, I don't even think there is memorization as much. The way they teach in math is totally different. The way we was taught to do math. I think that it's certain things that you need to memorize. You need to memorize your timetables, your addition facts. You need to memorize how to spell correctly, like the spelling test. I remember we used to play Around the World. All those things, some of those things you do need to memorize, but we also not teaching our kids how to critical think and think beyond the problem or how to solve things or just we have a lot of young people that just the basic thinking. You be like, wow. I don't know, sometimes you talk to them, they be so wise, but you be like, then I need you to go deeper. I need you to think more critically on whatever you are discussing or whatever topic that you're thinking about. Our young people can. I just think we don't give them opportunities to practice that skill.
So, which leads me to ask this question, Doc. We're dealing with some serious, mental challenges today, right? Do you think this has always been there? And I want to just address the black community, right? Because I don't really know much about if the white community deals with, which I'm sure they do, but I know, being in my own community, do you think we have always dealt with mental illness, or it really became rampant when the pandemic hit?
I think pandemic has opened the door for a lot of mental awareness and people to be brave enough. I don't like to say safe spaces, but be brave enough to be in a space where they are okay when saying I'm not okay. We have I grew up in a time where sticks and stones hurt your bones, but words will never hurt you. You suck it up, Buttercup.
Words
so praise,
do hurt.
yeah, it hurt.
Yeah.
Words hurt more than
the
sticks
and stones. Yeah,
and we were taught to suppress those emotions. We didn't know. I mean, I still, even though I believe I'm an expert in it, but I still struggle sometimes of the mental wellness. We don't talk about, we always said our uncles, or you always had that, you go to family reunion, crazy Uncle Johnny or crazy so-and-so. They really had a mental illness that we never talked about, right? We have, in our community, we have a lot of unhealthy behaviors that we just use as survival mode instead of saying, what can I do? Being a strong black woman is not... It's not healthy for us. Stress is the number one killer of black women because we.
But what type of stress that's killing black women? Give us 3 examples.
The stress of being a wife, being.
Well, hold on, stop for a second, Doc. What What you mean the
I
stress?
mean,
Like, I mean, break that down.
I'm going to break it down
Okay.
because society says a wife had to do X, Y, Z. It was a lot of norms that a wife had to do. But a lot of those norms, a lot of wives wasn't in the workplace. You had a lot of wives who worked
Oh, you talking about back in the day when they were
so then
homemakers?
Yeah, so you had to do a lot of things as a wife in your home. But then if you are a full-time worker or entrepreneur, it's certain things that will not be able to get done at home, and you put that stress on yourself because this is what they say a wife is supposed to do.
What do you think a wife's supposed to do?
Ooh. I say wife is supposed to, I have to make sure that the environment in my household is conducive for healthy behaviors.
Okay.
And in my household, I do not like to cook. I can cook.
But you don't like to cook.
I do not like to cook.
So how did,
but
what do y'all eat?
I created my men. I'm the only woman. I got 4 sunshines and my husband. They cook.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
You
So
know,
that's just one thing taken off your agenda.
That's took off my plate. And as a new wife coming in, me and my husband sat down. I did cook, but we did everything together. And like we plan out the meals. What meals are we going to eat for 2 weeks?
Okay.
Going grocery shopping together. Whoever home first cooked the meal. My husband would help. Sometimes if it's not my job, always do laundry. My husband would help. But it's certain things that I do that I like to do. I like to put the clothes up. He liked to wash. But it took a lot of things off my plate where I can be my best selves in other places that I don't have to stress about. But not all women have that. I have a great husband that do a lot of things, but we do it together and we share that load together. That is sometimes people may look as not the norm of a wife role and a husband role.
What is another thing that is affecting the black community when it comes to mental health?
I believe our wants and desires to achieve everything, what black excellence look like.
Give me an example.
Being a CEO of a building, reaching the top of the totem pole of what achievement may look like, getting all these degrees, and sometimes them degrees are sat down at the table where you don't really need all of them because you really have the expertise of them. I would say just that achievement level to make sure that I am doing the best that I can so my children can have a better future. So, like, I came from an environment where we went to jail. We didn't go to school. We lived in, my dad's house was 895 square feet. I worked to make sure my kids didn't have that. Had a bigger home, nicer car to ride in, live in the suburbs. All of that, those things of achievement lead to stressors because it leads to more debt. Because we're trying to say, I achieved this for the status of the world instead of knowing who we are as a people. And that financial stress is definitely a stressor.
So do you believe that, one of the other mental health challenges is, giving our kids what we didn't have?
Oh my God, yes.
But is that because we gave it to them without any expectations? But why did we do that?
Because I believe that is something that we always wanted internally. So we wanted to give it to our kids. Like, for example, my dad wanted to give us all the experiences, clothing, everything, because he didn't get it from his father, which led him to more debt and making bad financial decisions and stressors, had to work overtime, end up dying of a heart attack, right?
Really?
Yes. And so what do? Me and my husband started out the same pattern. But then eventually we started saying, no, we're not going to do all of that because I want to do something different. My kids don't need all those things, really, to have a wonderful childhood. I'd rather give them experiences of traveling the world and seeing what all the world, offers than to have all the Jordans and all the name brand clothing, all those things. I'd rather have them have stocks and bonds and financial freedom.
But why are we so?
As a culture, we believe that. We believe that status and have things make us. Feels a need that's inside is something that we need. It ain't. I don't know why that is, because we all do it. No black person can't say they do.
You know,
they don't.
Dr. Dennis Kimbrough said this. He said, "Rich people think poor, and poor people think rich."
I just sat and spent 2 days with James Malinick. And
James Big Money Malachek?
Yes.
In Vegas?
In Vegas. And let me tell you something. His mindset is totally different from ours. He fed us. I mean, you a millionaire.
Well, hold on. Stop right there. What was different than our mindset?
How they view money.
How do they view money?
They view money as freedom.
How do we view it?
We view it as a means to make it to the next level.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Those 2 days he wore the set. I ain't gonna put him out there, but his outfit was just plain as Jane.
Well, I mean,
he fed us
right
turkey sandwiches, chips from basic chips.
So nothing,
like it wasn't no spread, nothing extravagant.
Okay.
Nothing. He said he doesn't believe in utilizing his money in a way that feeds the needs of other people. He uses it as a way to make sure that he has financial freedom, where he can do what he want to do when he want to do it. I was like, huh.
What role has social media played when it comes to mental illness?
I think it plays. It's great for building community, meet new people, all those things. But also, I believe it makes people want to compare themselves to other people. I believe it makes people make them think that they are not enough at times because they haven't met this certain status, or they don't have the husband, or they can't take their kids on a vacation like maybe you and I, we posted it. I think it makes them believe that they're not worthy unless they are performing at a certain level.
So I want you to look at the camera that you're supposed to look in, which is the one to the left. And if someone is, the person that's listening today who feels overwhelmed, they are discouraged, they're feeling burned out, and just mentally exhausted, what is that you want to say to that person?
I will say that you are not alone. As many of us sit in the same space that you are in, and that you are worthy of all things, and that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to be brave enough to ask for help and to get the support that you need. Counseling is nothing wrong with it. Get a great support system that can help you get through whatever that you're going through, but just know that you have people who love you, who appreciate you just the way that you are, and that you are worthy to be loved and it's okay to be in that space. We all have different seasons, and sometimes you need to just look at the season as a life lesson. What am I supposed to get and learn from this season? And please, please, please do not sit in this hurt, the overwhelming spirit, the pain by yourself. It's always somebody that can help you get through whatever you are getting through, because your life matters. Everything that you do matters. Your gift to this world matters, and you are truly, wonderfully, and beautifully made, and that you are not alone. So never, ever, ever feel that you have to do and sit in that space by yourself.
What, we talk about legacy, and that's one of the reasons why we created the Legacy Health Works Lounge. What are 3 legacies you want to leave for future generations?
Well, my movement that I've been birthing is God love, give it, live it, be it. I want you to give love, disperse love out into the universe. Because when you gift it, it will be reciprocal and it will come back. I want you to actually live it. Don't just speak it. Put actions behind it. Show love, kindness, all those things to people, and actually be it. Be who God called you to be. Everybody has a gift that is beautiful, and we need to disperse all these beautiful gifts out into this universe and not compare ourselves to anybody else. You have to love you first. Once you truly, truly love you, you can disperse healthy love out into this universe.
You have a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think your book is a legacy. So talk about the legacy of that book and what is that book about?
Well, our upcoming book that I'm writing is called After the Applause, A Mom and Son's Conversation of Mental Wellness. By me being a former collegiate coach, athlete, and my two sunshines being former collegiate athletes, we're having conversations about mental wellness. What does life look like after all the applause stops, and giving tips and strategies to be intentional about your mental wellness, because we all deal with it. When the applause stops, the locker room, no more locker room meetings, no more sitting in spaces with the familiar. When all the accolades leave and you have to sit in the space of being just a normal person, I guess, sort of say. We're having conversations and tips and strategies all around that from a mom and a son's perspective. It's not mommy's voice, it's their actual voice, because I want them, especially as Black men, I need them to be mentally well. We're already starting to break some of the unhealthy behaviors and trajectory of the things that came from our DNA in our family, and I want them to continue that legacy. I want them to be wonderful husbands and fathers, but be mentally well while doing it, and not sitting in silence and not being okay with where they're at in that space. And our legacy is, I want a bunch of healed legacies to be dispersed. Like, I'm going to continue to say, I want good human beings. When you have good human beings, it goes and plants seeds all over the universe. And my legacy is to plant love and to help people see their best selves at all spaces. When people see their best selves, no matter what stage of life they in, they begin to disperse great energy. You ever met somebody that's always happy? You be like, why are they always happy?
Because why do we even question that?
People do, though, right? Like, I'm always happy. They'll be like, you always tell somebody they beautiful or handsome, because they are.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, why do we challenge that?
I don't know. Like, that's crazy how, I would love to see happy people.
Right.
I love to see people walking into their gifts. I love to see people creating spaces where they're helping other people be their best selves. Because when people are their best selves, that helps the environment around in the different spaces that we're in. And I don't know why people don't understand that. Like, when I talk to CEOs and leaders, like, I don't get why your unhealthy leadership, that you continue those unhealthy patterns. Why don't you see that when they come in their best selves, they actually help your business? And it's a twofold. If people are happy, like when we met at the Donatos, if people love coming to Donatos, people are always gonna come. And if the customer service is wonderful, we're coming back. Yeah. And how is the customer service gonna be wonderful? That person has to be happy themselves. Right. But if they're going through their stuff and they're coming in miserable and hate this job, your customer service is not going to be there. Like the example you gave earlier. Now, when you go to Chick-fil-A, them people are happy. Your customer service is good, and you getting through that line quickly. You go to other places, you be like, come on now.
They have. I mean, it's the culture, and they have systems in place, right? I mean, like, you never see their drive-through where it's stagnant, right?
It's efficient.
It constantly flows, and so, I think that, there's a lot that we as Black restaurant owners can learn too, right? I always say this, now here's what I will say is that before we criticize a Black-owned restaurant, how about we talk to them and share with them what our experience is, right? Before we blast it out there on Facebook, right?
And give them another chance. That one and done is crazy to me.
I always say, now, if they're not trying to hear it, then one and done is it with me, right? But they say, Kevin, I know we never thought about that. That's something to consider. Then I'm willing to come back and patronize your business. But I just think, we already behind, but we can't keep using that excuse, right? Because there's so much information out there that we can grasp and learn from, and we have to learn how to take advantage of it.
And it's opportunities to meet other people who are walk that paveway and who are already doing it great. And we have to sit in that space where we are ongoing learners and we don't know everything, and that's okay. Yeah. Sometimes our ego gets in the way of our success because we're not willing to, like you say, receive that feedback. Yeah. Like I was listening to Pastor Mike Jr., he was talking about he went to a restaurant and he thought the steak name was $250, but the steak was actually $250, and he was like, oh, heck, but his friend was like, no, I'll pay for it and you taste it. And we tasted that steak. It was wonderful. It's nourishment to his body, to his taste buds. But then he went to Outback the next day and said, oh, I'm going to get a steak. And that steak wasn't the same. He said, my appetite changed. And I got to experience something different. And sometimes when you experience a great steak, you ain't going back to... And that's why I tell business owners, like, you have to be able to experience something different. And when you experience something at a higher level, now I'm motivated to get to that level. I might not be there yet, but I'm open
inspired
to it. And that's another thing I would have done if I was opening my own school, is experience and exposures. Our kids need more experience and exposure. You'd be surprised how many schools that don't take field trips. How many schools don't bring in people that look like them, of the kids that look like them? I do author visits all over the country, and you know how many kids that they never seen a black author? That's crazy to me. It's abundance of us, right? And one of the boys he's like, you don't look like no author. I said, what does the author look like? He like, not you, because I had to reflect. Even in the classroom, in the building I used to work at, how many times did we bring in a black author? Rarely none. Right. So like bringing in people who have expertise and are doing great things in the community and in their workplace, all those things for our kids to be exposed to. Right. Because it's more than just, you know how many kids they say, I want to be a basketball player, professional athlete? That is more, or entertainer. Those are two of the things that our kids, my sister's a chemist. You rarely hear people, I want to be a chemist or a zoologist or other business owners. You rarely hear. It's always the same thing in our community. You more than that, right? You can get an injury. What you gonna do, right? So bringing in people and exposing them to other things. You might be great in the sport, might get hurt, but it's other. You could own your own sports arena. It's other things that entails that our kids need to be exposed to. But we can't blame our community if we don't give them the exposure. You know how many kids never been to a zoo? We have to give them opportunities to practice those skill sets and be exposed to different things. But if you're never exposed to, and it's all you see, we as a black community is only going to experience that. I tell me and my husband, we talk all the time when we do vending events. You know how many are black vending events where our parents will go past literature and authors, but will go get the clothes and the food. Yeah. Pick a book up too. Yeah. We need our kids, and we need you too to be illiterate, right? And to gain the knowledge. Like your book, if you went to a vendor book and you skipped your book on communication, that's, I ain't gonna say that's crazy, but communication helps you in many aspects of your life. Right. Right? And so we have to be able to get those exposed and start changing our mindsets as people to be able to actually fully grow. Because we are the mecca of everything. Everything that's successful in this earth is made from us. Right. And how can we not at that level as a community? Right. All right, that's a wrap.